I'd like to call to order the February 27th meeting of the Shelby Township Planning Commission. I'll ask the secretary to call the roll, please.
Mr. Snyder, absent. Mr. Meredith is absent. Ms. Baker?
Here, sorry.
Ms. Casali?
Here.
Mr. Turner?
Here.
Mr. Rapone is absent. Mr. Larray is absent. Chairman Moffett, we have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Next item is approval of the agenda. I'm going to strike under new business election of officers, given that we had four folks that decided that they didn't want to show up tonight. We'll try to get a little closer to a full body before we make those bad decisions. So with that, oh, and we're also removing site plan special land use number 23-03, Eric Greenfield, and I believe that's at the request of the petitioner. The planner's nodding, so that is correct. With those two amendments, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Support.
Been moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item is approval of the minutes from the February 13th meeting.
So move.
Is there support?
I wasn't there, so I won't support it.
If you,
Same here.
okay,
Support.
great, thank you. Although technically, I believe.
I think I
as long
could,
as
but-
you have, right, you can technically, but, all right. It has been moved and supported. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion
Aye.
carries. Okay, Ace, this potentially could be a fairly quick meeting. We have one item, site plan number, special land use, number 23-02, Raymond DeBuck Jr. for Apex Recycling. This is a public hearing, so I'll ask the secretary to read the notices published.
Charter Township of Shelby, notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Planning Commission for the Charter Township of Shelby, Macomb County, Michigan, has received a request for approval of the following site plan special land use. Applicant Raymond DeBuck Jr., 4725 22 Mile Road, Shelby Township, Michigan, 48317. Proposed use, recycling plant with outdoor storage. Location, vacant parcel north of 22 Mile Road, east of Ryan Road. Site plan number SLU 23-02, Sidwell numbers 23-07-20-300-064, or updated parcel number 23-07-20-300-65. Legal description is as follows. Planning Commission will meet on Monday, February 27, 2023, at 7 p.m. in the Shelby Municipal Building, 52700 Van Dyke, Shelby Township, Michigan, 586-726-7243, for the purpose of holding a public hearing on the site plan special land use. The application for this site plan special land use may be examined at the Planning and Zoning Department in the Municipal Building Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Written comments may be submitted to the Planning Commission at the above address prior to the hearing. Oral comments will be heard during the public hearing. The notice is provided pursuant to the requirements of Michigan Public Act 110 of 2006 as amended. Shelby Township Planning Commission, Jerome Moffett, Chair, Raquel Morris, Secretary. This was published in the Shelby Utica News on February 8, 2023. There were 31 property owners and 2 applicants were notified by first-class mail on February 7, 2023.
Great, thank you. Mr. Kirk, did the publication meet all legal requirements?
Yes, it did.
Thank you. And could you explain the uses under the present zoning and if this special land use request is appropriate?
The current zoning is our heavy manufacturing district. It's established for manufacturing, fabrication, assembly of kind of heavier items which may have some external effects. In this zoning district, junkyards or this type of use is a special land use, which requires special land use, which is probably being considered tonight.
Great, thank you. Secretary Moore, did we receive any correspondence on this request?
No, we did not, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. All right, the format for this public hearing will be as follows. The petitioner will come up or their representative, state what they're requesting this body to do and their reasons for it. We'll then bring it back to the board to ask any questions for the petitioner or offer their comments. I'll then open the conversation up for the public. Anyone here is free to ask any questions, offer their comments. Thing is, you just need to identify yourself with your name and address and then sign in when you're done speaking. I'll accumulate those questions and comments and then at the end, ask the petitioner to come back up to address those things that were raised, and then we'll make a decision. With that, I'll ask the petitioner or representative I assume that'd be one of you three guys. Okay,
I'm Louis Stramalia. I'm the owner of the property, and Mike is going to address it
okay.
as the
I'll
representative.
need your address.
4725 22 Mile Road.
Great, and your name again was,
Michael Shane.
okay? And I need your address too.
Yeah, Louis Stramalia, 1630 Barron Court, Rochester Hills.
Thank you. Okay. While we're here.
So we're on here on behalf of our site planning, which I'm understanding of the heavy industrial. Louis Smoglia owns the property. We're on a lease agreement there we've been there for 2.5 years, 2 years. We are Apex Recycling. What we offer to the community, we have a recycling yard where we have heavy industrial, we have equipment there, but we also offer to the community, we receive scrap there as far as, we have a license through the state as far as vehicles there. And then through the community, they're allowed to drop off any type of metal, which is appliances, vehicles, lawnmowers, anything that has to do with steel, for the community to be able to take it there. And what we do there is we buy it from the community. We also buy it through all the industrials, whether in Shelby Township, Utica. We offer for the industrials there. We have cans. So basically, we buy scrap there. We pay the customers, whether it's through check, VIA, however they like it. We process the material, and then we send it to the mills through purchase orders. So our volume is we buy it, we ship it through the mills, and that's basically what we do there, whether it's cars or any type of metals, copper, brass, aluminum, such. So we had the site plan that was submitted. If we understand, we had the drawing set up because when we bought the property, we changed it.
Did you buy the property or you leased the property?
We are buying it, we're leasing it, obviously, through
clear, I
him.
mean,
He owns the property. We're in a lease agreement for like a 10-year lease when we did it. So we're buying it from Stromaglia and from Louise and Butch there. And so we're on a lease agreement there. We've been there for 2 years. We've had the city and the state come out, the city come out. We've done everything that they've asked for. I know they've come out several times. And so what they wanted was a submitted site plan, which we have. I don't know if you guys have it. It was submitted to the city, and we're doing everything that according to what you guys asked for, and we're following all the regulations, and we're here to get approval of our site plan and to make sure that the needs are being met. So any questions I'll take or anything that the heads wants to have.
We're a township, by the way.
Yes, sorry about that,
Not a
township.
city.
Yes,
That's all right. It's a little pet peeve of mine.
all right. Township, sorry.
No problem. So is there restriction, I mean, is there a limit to what you recycle? What do you allow on the site?
Yes, we don't take any,
'Cause
we
was
don't
some
take any,
vague- There was some vague language on.
well,
like,
we
some
don't take,
items,
well,
so-
just to let you know, we don't take no debris. We don't take anything toxic. We don't take no gas, paint, oil, nothing like that. We don't take wood. We don't take debris. All we take is metals. So we have, the majority of our customers is industrial. So like all the shops that are like in Shelby Township or Utica, we have roll-off cans there. So like stamping plants, they put their steel in there, any type of machinery, rotors, your mechanic shops, they have like autocast or rotors, their brakes, their drums, whatever. So they fill up the can. When they're full, they call us. We come pick it up through a truck. We dump it in our yard. Then we recycle it we buy it, and then so we get mass quantities of it. And then, because they're not allowed to go to the mills per se. So if they come to a company like us, they get a purchase order. We sell our steel to the mills, whether it's AK, North Star, Blue Star, any mills that's in the surrounding areas. We sell them, and then we sell back to them. They melt it down, recycle it. So it's basically a green recycling. I mean, you have an appliance, your dishwasher, your stove goes out, what do you do with it? Well, you call Apex Recycling, we'll take it, we'll pay you for it, and then we recycle it, and that's basically how much it works. We don't take any cardboard, plastic, it's all metals. It has to be any type of metal. We call it non-ferrous and ferrous, which ferrous is all steel. It could be any hard steel, there's different grades of steel, autocast, PNS, which is like if they do a demo of this building, your beams, which is higher steel. So, and then we have copper, brass, aluminum. So that's the material we take at that facility.
So are you expanding your business, or is this just something you've been operating in the township, you were operating without the township having full knowledge of what you were doing? So they said, you need a site plan, you need to do these things?
Well, it was, from my understanding, it was Shelby Metals at the time when we bought it.
Okay,
when we did agreement with the owner of the property, and they were doing scrap there with heavy industrial machinery. We do have machines out there. We do have storage out there with, like trailers or vehicles, but mainly we are, doing the operation of what we thought that was, pretty much allowed during the district, what was going on in existing business.
Okay, so you're not looking to expand, you're just looking to, and maybe I'll ask the
No, we're not looking to expand. Everything's the same. All we did was upgrade it. Obviously, we put a scale in there because you got to have a certified scale. The state came in and gave us a scale. We got a scale in there for when the trucks come in, you got to weigh it out. So we pay by the pound. So people say gross ton or this or that. So if you came on with your vehicle and you had a bicycle, a barbecue, you come on at 5340 or 5,000 pounds and you went out at 4,800 pounds, we're paying you for 200 pounds of steel. So we pay by the pound. So anything that comes through goes over the scale, and that's how we pay, the customer.
So how long does it sit on your site before you then ship it to a wholesaler?
How we do it?
Yeah,
So basically, when the material comes in, what we do as a company, we process it because you can't just take your stove and just take it to a mill. They don't allow people to go to the mill. So what we do is we take it, we process it. We have shred material that gets shredded. Some of the mills in Detroit or Toledo or Ohio, they have shredders, they shred it. And then the heavier steel, we process it with the shear. It's like a big pair of scissors, we cut it. And then like the copper and the brass, sometimes it will have if you ever did plumbing, so to speak, and you had like your joints where they're connected with solder or fittings, we cut them off to clean it. We process it because the mills want, they want clean steel. And that's how we make our money. We buy it from the community, from the industrial places who don't have time to process it or do anything. So we pay them where we go off the Detroit Metal Market or COMEX. So just like NASDAQ, the market, COMEX has a market, the steel has a market. So wherever that's at, that's what we pay them. And then we make a little percentage on sending it to the mills and get a little higher price. So we basically refine it, so to speak, a little better.
so you don't sit on it over a long period of time.
What's that?
You don't sit on the recycling materials that come into you over a long period of time. You prep them.
Oh, no, it goes, no, we sell monthly. I mean, we sell every day.
Okay.
So the steel pile that comes in the shred, we have trucks coming in every day. So we're shipping every day.
Okay. To the board, any questions or comments?
I do have a question.
Commissioner.
A question, do you take like air conditioner units as well?
Air conditioning units?
Say appliances?
Yes.
So then with the Freon or whatever the material is, do you drain
Yes.
that or how?
Well,
do
we
you-
have two companies that come in and do that. So if we have any HVACs or anything like that, we have a couple companies that come in. Most of your heating and cooling people, they are required by law when they change out your condition, they're supposed to pump the Freon out. So if it's not like a refrigerator, so to speak, they tag it. So we call DTE, they'll come get the refrigerators. And then if it's not pumped out, like the air conditioners, if it's not, it's red tag. We won't take it. But if something slips through and we know that it is, we have a company that will come in that will take the Freon out before we even touch it.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Turner.
I was looking at your site plans. You got two sheets.
Yes,
that
sir.
You've got. I'm going to look at 2 of 2 because that's just one I made the notes on. It's a little sparse on details. So I want to go through some of these with you and see if I can get a better understanding of what some of this information is.
Are you on 1 or 2 or 2 or 2?
I'm on 2 of 2, but they're both the same.
Yeah, they're both the same. If you see the second
Except
one.
one is called a landscaping plan. It doesn't matter. I'm just looking at the layout of what you've got.
Yep.
Okay. On the west property line, you have a square that says proposed 125 by 125 miscellaneous storage.
Right.
What are you going to put, define that for me?
Well, that's basically equipment. So the reason why we put miscellaneous storage there, if you see on this map here, how you see on this site plan, right below that, you'll see where it says proposed miscellaneous steel storage. That's when it's processed, that's where it goes. The two big piles in front of that, where it says existing and existing, that's where it's unprepared, where the customers come in and dump at, and then we, as a company, we prepare it and put it over there. Some of our equipment and some trailers and some equipment's there, so we didn't know how to identify it. We just put there as proposed, because that's where we have some of our equipment at. Because when they came in and asked, when they come in, they asked about the trailers and what that was gonna be. For right now, we're just using it basically as a storage, as outside equipment.
So you're going to store the porta-johns and all the landscaping equipment you have on site right now there?
The Porta-John is not out there, not the Porta-John, but what we have there is equipment, like you'd say a Bobcat, an excavator.
Landscaping equipment,
Yep,
yeah.
yep, stuff like that, yes, sir.
Okay, now, just to the east of that, you've got existing, I'm sorry, it's kind of small, so I'm looking at my computer, heavy steel pile, and then you've got
Yep. The shred pile.
shred steel pile. So I was out there on Saturday or Sunday. As you pull in, you see this huge pile of.
Yep, that's the shred material.
That's the shred material.
Yes, sir.
How tall is that?
Right now, it's probably about 28, 30 feet, which we're under
That's it?
impression. Yep, oh yeah, 100%. We were under the impression of the state, or from the city, I should say, sorry about the state, but the city, that we were told it could be 35 or 40 feet, but we're under that, 100%. Because the only way we can load it, I mean, the reason why it has to be that way, I mean, think about it, you gotta stack it, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get it up there? Our machine, we have a Cinnabogan, that's our biggest machine, it only reaches 30 feet, so it can't be no higher than that.
Okay, because you can't miss it when you're pulling in. I'll tell you right now, that's the first thing you saw.
Well,
when you
because, I
pulled
mean,
in.
well, if you look at 30 steep, but you're looking at the density of it too, it's a pretty big pile. But if you look at it now, we probably shipped already this last month 1,000 tons, so it's totally different now.
Okay.
So we will not let it ever see 30 feet.
Okay. Then now on the eastern property line, you have vehicle storage. Which vehicles are you going to store over there?
Well, the reason why that is vehicles, because we buy vehicles.
Cars, I mean,
Yes,
right?
cars. Yes,
Stuff
sir.
that they come in to shred or whatever
Right,
you want.
exactly.
Got it.
So
Okay.
it's just temporary. And like I said, if you were to go there now, you'd probably, if I was to guess, you might see 5 or 7 cars there. Because we are constantly producing. We don't want to sit in there because we're buying it. Like our metal market, we go on a monthly base price. So if I'm paying you, let's say 200 a ton, and I'm getting 250, I can't take a chance and not ship it. I got to ship it because I don't want to lose money because next month it might be 200 and I lost money. So as soon as it comes in, we're trying to get a PO in, and sometimes we got to guess at it. Like if we're going to ship, I say, like this month I might buy on average, because you go by calculation, been there for 2 years. If I'm buying 500 a ton a month, I'll say, well, I'm guaranteed I'll ship you 400 because I don't want to lose no money. So that's why we're shipping every day to get it out of there.
Okay. And that's all I had right now, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Yes.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask the planner to offer her comments and report at this point. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to go over a few things. With this special land use, there's 3 different sections of the zoning ordinance that would apply to this. Number 1 is section 6.5, which is the special land use standards. And most of these items have been addressed. And as you know, this site has been in operation for a while. We are just trying to bring it closer into compliance with these sections of the zoning ordinance. The other sections of the ordinance that this pertains to is section 4.13, see accessory buildings and uses. And with that, the only violation in this is that the site is supposed to be screened with some sort of fencing or protected, so it's not visible from the site. Now, the good thing about this is it's interior of the site, and there's over 200 feet to the single-family residential district that's north of that. So I certainly wouldn't want to suggest that that entire site have to be chain link fence. And from what I understand, that entire wooded area is going to remain buffered, and there are containers that line that buffer area. So my one question is, what is stored in those containers, and are you planning on, it looks like.
That's why we let the buffer. We're not
All right,
even
I need you to come back up to the mic, yeah.
Sorry about that. That's why we left the 250 feet. We're not even going to approach where we're at now. We're not even want to go back. We're leaving. We could go back a little bit more. We don't even want to.
Right.
Just to make it that much better. We don't need that much space, to be honest with you. That's why we left it the way it was. We do have the trailers. If you like a fence, what we did was, we thought it was feasible it was like an eyesight. I mean, if you go back there, it's really in the spring, you can't see nothing. It's like a jungle back there, all trees. But we noticed in the fall, the leaves fall off. So what we did is, if you see the site plan, there's like a row of trailers. So we bought them, and we made like a fence line there for like a blockage. And then we don't even go back. We can go back like, I think 200 feet, but we're not even gonna approach that. We just left it between that, and then plus you have extended to where the residences are at. So we won't even go back that far.
Right, so that was not a concern, and I just wanted to make
Right.
clarification that there was that distance between the single-family residential to the north.
Right.
So that's the only thing that's out of section 4.13, the accessory uses, is that there has to be a chain link fence, while it would not be reasonable to do that on the north side of the property line, okay? But, however, the site plan indicates that the east side of the property, the adjacent property is zoned heavy manufacturing, which it is not. It's zoned single-family residential. So the only issue that I have along this east property line is, it looks like they are proposing some miscellaneous steel storage along that property line, including the vehicle storage pile, area that you're proposing there. Well, that's right on the property line.
Right.
And we have major two screening that's required for that property line. Now, you know, that property is quite large to the east. It's a, you know, single-family residential zone property. Now, I don't know if it could ever be developed or not, but nevertheless, the screening is required there. So if we're talking about some sort of, you know, trying to obscure visibility, I think it would be appropriate to apply the major 1 and 2 buffer along that east property line, maybe scoot those uses on the interior of the site, maybe provide some landscaping and a fencing along that property line. I certainly think you have
Well,
enough
we'll
room.
do whatever required by the board here. We're willing to work whatever. That's why, I mean, if you
Yeah.
go back there, it's like, it's landscape in itself. It's like all woods. We're cut into the woods. I mean, you can't get no more landscape than that. But if you would like, I mean, if it pleases you guys, the board, we'll do whatever. I mean, we'll take a chain link fence and go, we'll have an estimator come out there, wherever he says the property line is, we'll do whatever you guys would like.
It's not the north boundary, that's all set.
Right.
It's that east boundary,
Right.
that east, where you've got materials right up to the boundary.
Okay.
And that we're gonna have to, that you're gonna have to work with planning.
Right.
To figure out what's acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do whatever you like, put a fence, plant everybody's or whatever, but if you ever walk by there, to me, because we stopped right where like it really got thick where the woods is, because it's all like, if you take 2 feet, step out, I mean, you're right in the heart of the woods. I mean, you can't get no thicker than that.
Yeah, so, that's fine, and we can work through that, with the applicant. So the other section that applies to this is section 4.50, which is junkyards, auto wrecking yards, so on and so forth. Now, there's 6 standards in this area as well, and a couple of these standards are not applicable because this site is an interior site, right? And you're accessing it from an access road. So we're gonna need a cross-access agreement as well from the property to the south, because you have no frontage, right? So the other thing is, again, most of these don't apply, or, you know, they're not applicable because you're in an interior site.
Right, yeah,
So-
because the easement come through the, right.
Right. So basically, that's about it. There's some other, you know, comments that are in my review that need some adjustments on the plan, but for the most part, I think, like I said, we could work through this. However, I just want to make sure that that single-family residential property to the east is, you know, properly screened.
Okay. Yep,
Okay. We've got to anticipate
okay.
that may happen in the future. And so if we
And
like it
what we do,
right on
we'll-
the boundary,
we'll-
you know,
okay.
that's the issue, but again, okay. All right, thank you. So this is the only public hearing the planning commission will hold on this special land use request. All remarks will be entered in the record for township board evaluation. We are a recommending body, and ultimately the township board will evaluate our recommendation and make a final decision on this request. At this point, anyone from the public is free to come up and ask any questions, make a comment. They got any name and address, and then when you're done speaking, sign in, please.
Yeah, my name is Sean O'Brien, and I live at 4720 Marcella Drive, Shelby Township, Michigan. So I have 2 concerns, and I've primarily heard the actual land space be addressed, but I did want to bring 2 things up. The first of which is the noise. This plant generates an incredible amount of noise. They have large compactors, and they're close enough that they shake our house, basically. My neighbor has complained that they are compacting during hours that's not allowed. That doesn't really affect me. I get up early, so I take that word, his word on that. And the other one is, and I can't believe I haven't heard this mentioned yet, but they had a gigantic fire, I believe it was about 1.5 years ago, that I didn't hear mentioned at all, but, you know, it was so large that I had news crews knocking on my door at 10 o'clock at night. So I don't know if this is, oh, it's a roofing place? That wasn't us, that wasn't us. Oh, why is this on here? Well, regardless, it's that type of zoning. Anyways, those are my only concerns.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, do you wish to comment? Yeah, and when they're done, I'll call you back up, yeah.
I am at 4920 Marcella. I have a lot, no house. I'm planning to build new home,
And your name is?
Bukuria Logo. I don't want to go against no one. I like people when they work. The noise is high, I know exactly. They can do the best I can wherever they do. Shaking the houses is realistic because house next door was mine and I sold it. Now, when I build new one, I have to take extra precaution to this facility. It's a little bit concerned.
Okay,
I don't want to go against nobody. See people working, I'm happy.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Ma'am, could you sign in, please? Ma'am, could you sign in? Okay. So hours of operation and noise.
So our hours are 8 to 5, I mean, which I figured are required. I mean, we don't come early, we don't go late, we're just standard operation, 8 to 5. My guys don't get in earlier at 7:30. They'll open up and maybe turn the lights on. I get there at 7:30 myself every morning. No one beats me. So, I mean, we're 8 to 5. It's on our website. Actually, we're 8 to 4, but on December, January, February, we're 8 to 4, and, you know, just because it gets dark. So, and then from that time on, we're 8 to 5. So, and as far as the crusher goes, and the fire, you guys probably seen it all in the news. It was Lutz Roofing. It wasn't us. It was out of control. We were actually helped them to put it out because it was butted up to our property. We actually had guys out there with excavator that actually helped the fire department put it out. So it wasn't our yard. It was Lutz Roofing. And then as far as the crusher goes, we don't have anything that crushes. We did that on purpose because we know sometimes crushers or like shredders could be loud. There are a lot of scrap yards that have shredders and crushers. We have no balers. We have no crushers. We have no shredders. The only thing we have a 345 cat. It's just a basic excavator. We have a Cinnabogin. If I was a starter in here, you'd probably barely hear it. And we have a Bobcat. We don't have nothing crushing.
So what's making?
Well,
it
he's
like
saying
a shake?
something about a house shake or something. We don't have no rock. We don't have no crushers there. We don't have no. I mean, I wouldn't lie to you. You come there. We don't even have power hardly. We don't have like our power is very minimal. We run out of a little office basically. And we don't have no power, so we don't have no 220 and no 420 going through there, so we couldn't run a baler if we wanted to. So we have no balers, no crushers, no shredders. All our stuff is by high-lows, Skytrack, or excavators. And that's, I mean, that's just being honest with you. I mean, I wouldn't lie to you, but we don't have none of that stuff in our yard.
Right.
So as far as the house shaking, I don't know what that is. I mean, we have several, and I could bring up a list, several customers, Bourbonic, that lives right behind us, and a couple other people that come to our yard. They love it because it's convenient, but I've never heard any of noise or like out of like being, because we're pretty much standard operation 8 to 5.
Okay. All right, thank you. I mean, generally, if it were a huge nuisance, the township would know about it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, I wouldn't sit here and lie to you and lie in front of the guy who, I'm leasing a property from and put his name in jeopardy.
Yeah. Okay.
Chairman?
Anything?
I just want to let you know, too, I checked with our code enforcement department today to see if there was any official complaints with our ordinance enforcement office, and there was none.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. So our recommendation this evening must be based on the following: compatibility with adjacent land uses, consistent with and promote the intent and purpose of the special land use, compatibility with the natural environment, consistent with the capacities of public services and facilities affected by the proposed use, protect the public health, safety, and welfare, and the adequacy of public access to the site. We may recommend approval, disapprove of the request, or table it to evaluate the information we receive further.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Turner.
Yes, I will move to postpone site plan dash special land use 2302 SLU Raymond DeBuck Recycling Facility located on the north side of 22 Mile Road west of Shelby Road. Proposed recycling facility with outdoor storage in order to give the applicant an opportunity to address all Planning Commission, Department, and Engineering comments.
Is there support?
Support.
Moved by Turner, support by Baker. Any comments on the motion? I would just say that because just addressing that screening on the east side will significantly alter potentially the site plan, I think we need to see it before we go forward, but I don't anticipate, and the planner's nodding, that it's hopefully be a significant issue. So get with the planner to figure out, okay, how we can adjust the site a little bit to put the screening to allow for the R1 district next door. Okay, if there are no other questions, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Turner.
Yes.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes. Yes, sorry.
Commissioner Casale.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay. When they come back with the amended plan, assuming they do come back with amended plan, you will be notified, and if there's something dramatically different change to it, welcome to make comment, okay? With that, I think that's it. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Is there support?
Support?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, we're adjourned.
Remember to subscribe to the Shelby TV YouTube page and click the notification bell to get updates on all of the Shelby TV content.